In this watercolor video, I'm going to show you how to paint the nose and the mouth of a baby cheetah. Welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss one of my videos. My name is Angela Duffield-Warren. I'm an artist and illustrator. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. I'll leave the links down below. If you have any art questions, then please leave them in the comments below and I will answer them as soon as I can. Also, if there's any topics you'd like me to discuss, then also leave them in the comments and let's see if I can create some videos you would really enjoy. You're welcome to become one of my patrons, where on a monthly basis I have a community where I share my demos, art workshops and other tips. But let's get started. Let's begin with painting the nose and mouth of a baby cheetah. The first thing that I do is I take out some of the pencil lines that are too dark and I use a putty rubber because I won't be able to take out any of those marks once I paint over it. I'm using a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna as my first layer over the nose of the baby cheetah. I do the outline of the actual nose and I'm busy watching where the light and dark is. And I use the cerulean blue up at the top of the nose and I blend it in because this gives a very nice effect on a nose and also makes it look realistic. You can add alizarin crimson in at a later stage, but for now we're going to just carry on working with ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. The next step is to work with burnt sienna and yellow ochre. I make the mixture because that is the base color. I then dilute it with water so that it is a very light area. This light color I use in between the very dark hairs, and also I've got masking fluid there which has blocked out the white hairs and white areas of the chin. And we'll be working it down as we go along to the chest area. But for now, I'm just working and building up the chin and the cheek area as well. I use ultramarine blue and burnt sienna mixture, which is like a brown black. I'm not using a black out of a tube, but I'm mixing my colors and then slowly building up the area with long strokes because the fur is very, very long in this particular area of the baby cheetah. And as you can see, I'm working in the shape or in a semicircle, which is the shape of the actual chin. I'm going to let that dry and then start working in a fine detail on the cheeks. A cheetah doesn't have very definite lines on the actual nose because they're not like a lion or a tiger that has very dark stripes or dots on that area. These are just lightly put in there and that's where the whiskers come out of. So just keep that in mind. And sometimes the whiskers are black on a baby cheetah, not necessarily white. Now I'm waiting for that whole area to dry and I'm continuing with the other cheek and I'm putting in the markings that I see on the baby tiger. Just very lightly I'm putting them in. As you can see, I'm working over some of the areas. As it dries, it will get lighter. I'm adding in some of this fine hairs just below the mouth. And now I'm going back with my yellow ochre and burnt sienna and I'm lightly working on some of the small fine hairs that are there just to show that it's still a hairy, furry baby cheetah. I'm not smoothing out any of that area there because I like to show that the animal actually has fur and hair. That's my particular style of drawing. I'm slowly still using the the yellow ochre and burnt sienna as the base color. I'm still working it in and building up the hair with very fine, small strokes of color. And I work back in there in a semicircle, same shape as the nose and the cheek. I see at the top here that there's a bit of a ridge on the nose. So I'm making this area a little bit darker, adding burnt sienna in and just showing that there is a ridge there on the nose. And I'm working it back into the yellow ochre mixture with the burnt sienna in. And as you can see, I'm working downwards in a semicircle, just to show that there's a 3D effect and to give shape to the nose, because we don't want it to look flat. So I'm just zooming in to show you what that actually looks like. Okay, now the whole area is dry, and I'm just going to lightly work in between using positive and negative spaces, and I'm busy building up the nose area. I'm now working on the top of the nose and the cheek and just filling in little areas there and bringing the hairs down from the nose down to the cheek area. But the cheeks aren't completely white. They do have some yellow ochre in the little hairs over there. So I'm making sure that I don't, use up all the white area as well. And whilst that's drying, I work a little bit over the nose area. Now you must know in tigers they have very white cheeks and black lines. So in each of these you've got to be careful and have a look at the markings. Right, now that it's dry, I'm going to take out the masking fluid. As you can see, they're very big white areas. I leave much bigger white areas because I can always work the color back into a white area, but I can't try and work the white area back into the color area because watercolor stains the paper. So it will be stained that black blue, and I will actually lose the white area. So now I'm going to use some more ultramarine blue with my burnt sienna, and I'm going to do a little mixture up at the top there. As you can see, I keep adding color and just mixing it in. Now I'm going to carefully look at the light and shadow areas of the nose. I am busy working in the dark area now, and I am putting in the color and smearing it and blending it across. I'm having a look at the shape of the top of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and I can see that there is a slight indentation there. Also, there is a little white patch. There's a few white patches there, which I don't want to lose. I haven't used masking fluid there, but I'm trying to still keep that little area, which will be in shadow, basically. Okay, so I keep adding in pigment or paint, so that I make it look darker and darker. As you can see, as I'm dipping paint in the wet area, it's actually making that whole area look darker. And that's how I layer the area. As you can see, the nose is more defined now. I'm just checking that I'm putting in some light and dark areas over the bridge or top of the nose. I'm also putting in a fine layer, very thin layer of color, just so that I can show that there's shadow there at the top. I am putting in a light little piece of shadow there with just water and smearing some of the paint in. Now I'm busy working up some of the areas and layering it and adding more dark pigment or paint in there. As you can see, those little white areas are showing up more now. Right. So I just wanted to show you what that shape looks like. And now I need to let it dry. So I am going to work on the cheek. But be careful, if it's not dry, then you're actually going to start smearing it. So I just need to use some paper towel to make sure that doesn't smear. I'm removing the masking fluid, and remember, you can always add masking fluid in over paint as well once it has dried, and you can use that also as a layering effect. But I'm taking this off. As you can see, it's like a glue, because I've now protected some of the areas, and I just want to show that there are whiskers. Okay, that's why I put the masking fluid there. I've now taken off the masking fluid, and I'm going to go back and work in some of the painted areas. I'm adding some more hair in with that, I think it is ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna mix. And I'm just carefully building up the area with little dots, little lines, and defining also the whiskers. As you can see, I'm building up the color of the nose. I'm taking out some pigment just to keep the shape of the nose right. I'm adding now some of that yellow ochre mixture on the side so that it gives the cheeks a little bit more dimension, like a 3-dimension look. I've placed the shadow in by putting just water on my brush and then pulling the color down from the area. Thank you for watching this video and spending time with me. Please leave your comments below as to what you think of the video.